Telex Radio Dispatching, C-Soft and MOTOTRBO Part 2, Keypad and System List Additions. Okay, so hopefully you've already viewed MOTOTRBO presentation number 1, or video number 1. So we're going to add some enhanced features to our turbo design. I'm going to go into the user ID list, and I'm going to create some new users. We're going to call this Turbo 1. For the name, the ID will be 1330. I'm just going to do some copy paste. Creating a couple of additional radios. The actual radio I have in my lab environment here. We'll do it that way. Is 1332, as we saw earlier on our other video. So I have three portables, hypothetical. I'll come into each one of the turbos. And for fun, I can give each one of them a unique icon. I don't know if in this video I will get a GPS, Google Earth put on, but we'll at least have each one of the portable radios will, or mobiles when they would call in, would display a different unique icon on a Google map or Google Earth map. So we have our three mobiles, our three portable radios, all have a unique ID. We'll say OK. I'm going to come in, I'm going to create some groups. MOTOTRBO. Copy paste again. So we build these. So we have some three identifiers. We have three unit IDs and three group IDs. I could have, had I had a file built, I could have just built in the file. So we'll say OK. I'm going to go in here, edit my system. It already shows me my turbo. Expand my turbo. And it already pulled in all three of those unit IDs and specific groups, which is good for us. We can say File, Save, our system list. I actually need to put it inside my turbo, simplify everything. Yep. Just say no on that one because we just did save it. Now what I'm going to do, because I'm going to use up some more space, I'm going to actually start to compress a little bit of my lines together. Give ourselves some more screen space. And then I'm going to add our new keypad. See if I can grab these guys alone, drag them down, make a little more space on our screen. Because ultimately I want to make this guy just a little bit bigger for demonstration purposes. And this is our new keypad. The properties on it, of course, is keypad. It's a common to all lines. You have the ability on each one of the tabs to change colors, the contact tab, the manual tab, and the history tab. So you have the ability to modify any one of those. So the contacts will show you the individual contacts. the manual will allow us to manually type in a contact if it's not in our list, and then the history, of course, will show us who we've communicated with in the past. To expand on this, we're going to add some of our command buttons. And command buttons have been around since, I think, 6.2 or 6.0. We had started to do command buttons. So I'm going to do a PTT group call. And it shows up automatically turbo interface. So this line is the turbo interface. We'll put it right there. I'm going to change this guy to the MTRBI. I'm going to add a new button, and its properties instead of group call will be private call. When we look at the options, we have the ability to change a number of things. So I've got a private. Let's do this. Simplify that because it will stay with the line. I'll drag that guy over, and I'm going to change that to a private call for the MTRBI. Now, most people are probably familiar. I'm just going to delete this real quick, my keypad, and you'll see what will happen. When I delete that, most people are probably familiar with seeing our command buttons look like this, which is you would select this bottom piece. It would open up a list of available radios for that line, and then you would have you would select the unit that you wanted to private call, and then you would hit the upper button. Well, that drop-down function goes away when you add a keypad. The keypad, as you saw, it just dropped off. The keypad, the whole selection is done here, so you make your selection in the search field. Once you get the guy or the unit that you want to call, then all you do is highlight it and then hit the individual call type. So we'll expand that over there. And then I've got a couple of other ones that we can do. Let's see here. I'm going to do a radio check. And this can be a global button or specific to a line. We're just going to make it global at this point. Pull this down. We're going to make this guy a radio disable. Leave it as a global button. And then a radio enable. Just to give you a couple of ideals or IDs. Wow. Ideals. Ideas. Wow, I'm having a hard time this morning. On how you could deploy the various command buttons in C-Soft. So we've got all those added. Now we're going to save my demo 3. I'm going to save demo 3. Yep, you can overwrite it. Oh, button private PTT overlaps button. I must have a couple here. Hope I did. Let's try to save that again. Okay, no errors. That's good. And we'll bring this up on a live network here in a second. Okay, we have our design now has gone live. And as you can see, the new keypad is blank until I select a line. As soon as I select the line, it populates with the line name, and it shows me all the units that we had put in the system list. And basically, it will auto-filter. So if I start to do 1-3, it starts to filter out all the IDs that don't have a 1-3 in it. If I back up, it will auto come back. I can also select a specific unit. And in this case, I want to do a private call. I can do a private call to that unit. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the command button. for that specific line. If I wanted to do a group call to everybody with inside a group, I would just select the group number and hit a group PTT. Test 1, 2. So that's how the turbo interface or the turbo interface with command buttons would work, and the system list ties in with the new keypad entry. If there were a unit not present, I could come over here to manual, and I can either use the keypad or the 10 key punch on my computer, or I can sit here and use the on screen, and it automatically tells me. It looked through the list really quick and said, oh, you want turbo number 2. So I can go to turbo number 2 and do a private call. And then here's the history tab of all the various calls that have been made. Oh, system's still busy. Now just go back over here. Test 1, 2. And then we had added some generic or global command buttons if I wanted to radio check to see if a certain radio was on. There it was. It sent the radio check, and I actually got an ACK back from the radio. I could disable the radio, and my radio is now dead. If I wanted to re-enable it, it sent out the command, and the radio re-enabled. So you can see how the command buttons can be used with a keypad, and it saves you from having to open up. You can also do or it doesn't save you, but you could still do it from this function if you wanted to. All those same button functions, these are in theory command buttons. So there's my Turbo 2. There's that same 1332. I have the ability to send a call alert. I could have had a command button out here on the screen to do the same thing. Oh, be quiet. So that's the functionality, and the same thing would happen if I go back. Same functionality on a turbo MTRBI line. I can still do the same thing. I can select this guy and do a private PTT. Test 1, 2. So this pretty much concludes how you can use the keypad or our new keypad that's released in 6.5 and command buttons tied together. Hopefully this has been an informative video on some of the enhanced features being added to 6.5.
Bosch, invented for life.